Adroikwa, Adranazlo, Radio Mano, Itune Radio, 103.5 Ogidi, Ebanade FM, Kilometer, Toga Boy, Mikagani, Power.
Afana, Nawa, Namon, so Angels.
Mama Kosebru Abaptal Maria, Oretri Meseni Kenke Monso, Ekene Maria Egyptian na Grace, Sebru Ananyeli, Eden God's next tip Moronine, Others in God's Puma forgive Jesu. Maria, their son, Nenke Chubu, Rebella Ninja, Peter Namano, Amen. Naju Odibowani Kosebru, Ekene Maria Egyptian na Grace, Osebru.
Guys, like, subscribe, and share, right? Thank you.
Others in God's Puma forgive Jesu. Maria, their son, Nenke Chubu, Rebella Ninja, Peter Namano, Amen. Okwe Melaro, Ekene Maria Egyptian na Grace, Osebru Ananyeli, Eden God's next Tiboronine, others in God's Puma forgive Jesu. Maria, their son, Nenke Chubu, Rebella Ninja, Peter Namano, Amen. Yabalanya, your own Nenke Chukuja, so, Ayo. I know you to carry Grasa in Mogai, Caribbean and Jabutema, where Mali will have a Christian Mali, Tina Nubia, where Batano Stone and Beaten Oya, Stena Christi Divinai, Amen. Otito the Rena, Nawana Monso, Otito the Rena, Nawana Monso, Otito the Rena, Nawana Monso, Amen. Pablo Bindini no Galaga, Pablo Bifaz Liken and Doqua, Amen.
Onye nwanyị nọnyere ụlọ ka Chineke dị ike niile gọzie ụlọ nna na nwa na mmụọ nsọ.
Ekele abịala site na nkwado ndị Love Bite Foods and Beverages Limited Nnobi, ndị na-alụpụta Love Bite Bread nọ na nọmba 1 Nwotu Mmaduka Close, Mmuru Nnobi, 081 49 82 82 54.
Listen to news updates on Ebonadi 103.5 FM immediately after Angeles 6 o'clock a.m. and 6 o'clock p.m. weekdays. Stay tuned to be updated, to be informed. News updates, live reports. Ebonadi FM breaks the news with actualities.
I believe that if we are hoping for a new Nigeria,
you can as well listen online via mixlr.com/GistFM.
Good evening and welcome to Ebona, the 103.5 FM News Update. Today, Monday, the 3rd day of April 2023. And the time is 4 minutes past the hour of 6. Martin Ifeanyi Ekeze is my name. The headlines. Panel investigating alleged criminal conduct of Anambra police officers submits report. Truck drivers accuse security operative of shooting escorting members on Enugu-Port Harcourt Highway. IPOB condemns killing of members in Abia. Ebonyi boxing fans hail Anthony Joshua over comeback win. INEC has denied or certified results copies. Imo Labour Party candidates. Taliban closes Afghanistan's only women-run radio station for playing music during Ramadan. Now, details. Panel investigating alleged criminal conduct of Anambra police officers submits report. The panel of inquiry investigating allegations of killings, extortion, and sales of human parts leveled against some senior police officers in Anambra State, has submitted its report. An anonymous blogger in February raised an alarm over alleged atrocious activities, including forceful acquisition of properties owned by arrested victims, perpetrated by 3 police officers serving in Anambra State Police Command. Recall that following the allegations by the blogger, Nigerian Police Force Headquarters had set up a panel to investigate the allegation, which invited the accused officers to Abuja. Also, the Anambra State Police Command had, in connection to this, declared wanted the National Youth Service Corps member, Daniel Nnamdi Eme, for impersonation, possession of firearms, and money laundering. Eme, 26, is said to be an IT expert working with the command and was alleged to have leaked the information to the blogger. The police officers involved in the allegations included CSP Patrick Abazue, Commander Rapid Response Squad RRS in Anambra, SP Nkiru Mode, Zonal Public Relations Officer Zone 13 Ubo, and Inspector Harrison Akama, alleged to have carried out nefarious activities for Abazue. Barely 2 months after its constitution, newsmen learned that the panel has turned in its report to the Inspector General of Police Osman Akali Baba, CSP Olumiyiwa Adejobi, First Public Relations Officer who disclosed this to newsmen via a text message upon inquiry, said, "I am aware that the team has carried out an investigation into the allegations and a report has been sent to the Inspector General of Police recently. I will get a copy of that report and act." Responding to the news that Eme was on his way to Oka for arraignment in court, and at the time of filing this report, Adejobi said he was not aware. "I will need to find out about that," he said. There have been protests from some civil society organizations over the release of the suspected police officers, while some civil society organizations had called for protection for Eme, insisting he should be treated as a whistleblower rather than being detained in solitary confinement. Truck drivers accuse security operative of shooting, extorting members on Enugu-Port Harcourt highway. Truck drivers on Saturday accused security operatives of regularly harassing and extorting them on the Enugu-Aba-Port Harcourt expressway. The drivers made the accusation at Ofeme Umuahia while protesting the alleged shooting of their members, a driver and his motorboy, by security men at a roadblock. The drivers, who blocked the 2 lanes of the highway for about 4 hours on Saturday morning, insisted the security man who shot their members was arrested and prosecuted before they reopened the expressway. They also alleged that they were regularly coerced to pay bribes at different checkpoints on the highway before being allowed to pass. 2 of the trailer drivers, who gave their names as Sule Idris from Jigawa State and John Nduka from Enugu State, said a tanker driver and his motorboy allegedly refused to offer a bribe at the security checkpoint at Ofeme Umuahia, which, according to them, made one of the security men in the checkpoint to shoot the driver in the leg. According to the truck drivers, when the motorboy in the truck demanded to know the offense of his master, motorists and travelers experienced terrible gridlock as a result of the protest. The intervention of the Abia State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, Mr. Paul Ugu, did not pacify the drivers. Commercial and private vehicles going to Enugu and the country's northern parts were stranded as they were delayed for about 4 hours. Those coming from Enugu end of the road and going to Aba, Port Harcourt, Umuahia, Uyo, Calabar were trapped on the other side of the road. Conversant with Abia Terrain negotiated to Ihite, Uboma, and Mbano in Imo State to connect Owerri, Onitsha, and some other towns. The alleged shooting of the driver and his motorboy happened just 6 days after a staff of Abia State Vigilante Service killed a Choice restaurant staff in Umuahia for demanding the payment of his 4-month salaries. Meanwhile, the Abia State government today lifted the ban on the movement of trucks and trailers in the state between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. Governor Okeze Bazo, in a statement signed by Secretary to the state government, Chris Ezem, said the lifting of the ban was immediate effect while directing the state economics advancement team to install necessary signage in strategic locations for speedy control of heavy trucks. IPOB condemns killing of members in Abia. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has condemned the killing of its members who were on a peaceful protest at Aba in Abia State on Friday to demand release of Mazen Nandekano from the Department of State Service DSS detention. The pro-separatist group alleged in a statement by its media and publicity secretary Emma Powerful that more than 50 unarmed protesters were murdered in cold blood on Friday for simply asking the federal government to obey its own court, which ordered that Kano should be released unconditionally. According to the group, more than 100 unarmed protesters are still missing, while IPOB has recovered about 3 dead bodies of murdered protesting youths. He said more than 30 protesters sustained 1 degree of bullet wound or the other. The group appealed to Abia Police Commissioner to release the bodies of the protesters killed and taken away for their families to organize proper and dignified burial for their deceased. The statement reads, the global family and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB under the leadership and command of Mazen Nandi Okuchukwu Kano is appalled at the joint military and police attack and massacre of some IPOB members who were on a peaceful protest to demand the release of Mazen Nandi Okuchukwu Kano from the DSS dungeon at Aba, Abia State on Friday, 31st March 2023. More than 50 unarmed protesters were murdered in cold blood on Friday for simply asking the Nigerian government to obey its own court, which ordered that Mazen Nandi Kano should be released unconditionally. At last count, more than 100 unarmed protesters are still missing, while IPOB recovered about 3 bodies of the murdered youths. More than 30 protesters sustained 1 bullet or the other. The Abia State Police Commissioner should release the bodies of the protesters they killed and took away in order to hide their crimes against humanity to their families for proper and dignified burial. Powerful stated. Ebonyi boxing fans hail Anthony Joshua over comeback win. Boxing fans in Ebonyi have hailed Anthony Joshua's comeback win over Americans Jermaine Franklin on Saturday night. Newsman reports that Nigerian-born Briton at the O2 Arena in London beat the hard-fighting Franklin on a unanimous point decision of 118 to 111, 117 to 111, and 117 to 111. The victory thus becomes Joshua's first since losing to Ukrainian Oslan Oski on September 25th, 2021 in London, and also the rematch on August 20th, 2022 in Saudi Arabia. Ikechukwu Utomo, boxing head coach of the Ebonyi Sports Council, congratulated Joshua for the victory, noting that it will relaunch him into mainstream heavyweight boxing. The victory will surely keep his heavyweight career on track and throw up potential clashes with the likes of Tyson Fury, Dote, Wilder, among others. It will also bring a new list into world boxing title challenges with possibility of more mouth-watering bouts, he said. Jeffrey Diobi, an amateur boxer in the old Enugu Sports Council, advised Joshua to bouts before seeking potential title bouts. The long period of inactivity showed in the clash with Jermaine, as he is still far from the old Joshua we know. You should use such fights to prepare adequately and attain the physical and mental conditions required for title bouts, he said. Chief Allen Madakolam, an estate developer and boxing buff, however, expressed delight with the improvements from Joshua at the O2 Arena. I watched the bout and noticed that despite being taken to the distance by Franklin, Joshua was consistently on the ascendancy as the rounds progressed. He also battled tenaciously with improved left jabs, despite blood trickling from his nose. In the second stanza, he said, Miss Oluchi Nwankwo, a student and a Joshua fan, urged the boxer to remain focused on returning to his best form. I have absolute confidence in AJ emerging the best again, despite past setbacks, she said. INEC has denied us certified result copies. Imo Labour Party candidates. The 27 House of Assemblies candidates of the Labour Party Imo State have raised the alarm over the refusal of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to issue them the certified true copies of election results. Candidates said INEC's action has impeded them from completing the filing of their tribunal processes. Speaking on behalf of the candidates in a press conference in Owerri Sunday, candidate of the party for Olo State constituency, Comrade Precious Nwadike, stated that INEC's act is a deliberate attempt to frustrate them from filing processes at the tribunal. He added that INEC had withheld the certified true copies of the results despite a court injunction mandating the commission to release the documents. The candidates urged the Resident Electoral Commission (REC) of the state to retrace her steps, maintaining that they will employ all legal means to reclaim their mandate. The flag bearers submitted that the REC allowed herself to be used by desperate politicians to subvert the will of the people and called for her removal. The candidates said the February 18 polls were characterized by rigging, intimidation, and harassment of their agents and voters. According to them, results were manufactured in areas election did not hold, and INEC accepted the results. Now we move over to the foreign scene. Taliban closes Afghanistan's only women-run radio station for playing music during Ramadan. The Taliban has shut down a women-run radio station in Afghanistan, the only one in the country, for playing music during the holy month of Ramadan. Muhyiddin Ahmadi, the director for information and culture in northeastern province of Bakshan, said the station, Sadin Bonowan, was shuttered for breaching the laws and regulations of the Islamic Emirate. If this radio station accepts the policy of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan and gives a guarantee it will not repeat such a thing again, we will not allow it to operate again, Ahmadi said. Sadia Banowan, which means women's voice in Dari, was stated 10 years ago. He has 8 staff, 6 of them female. Station head Soroshi denied any wrongdoing and called the closure a conspiracy. The Taliban told us that you have broadcast music. We have not broadcast any kind of music, she said. Representatives from the Ministry of Information and Culture and the Vice and Visual Directorate arrived at the station and shut it down, she said. Station staff have contacted VAS and Visual, but officials there said they do not have any additional information about the closing. Many journalists lost their jobs after the Taliban takeover in August 2021 following the chaotic withdrawal of US troops. Media outlets closed over lack of funds or because staff left the country, according to the Afghan Independent Journalists Association. The Taliban, meanwhile, have barred women from most forms of employment and education beyond the 6th grade, including university. There is no official ban on music, but during their previous rule in the late 1990s, the Taliban barred most television, radio, and newspapers in the country. This is where we draw the curtain on news update on Ebona at the 103.5 FM. But before we leave, a quick look at the headlines. Panel investigating alleged criminal conduct of Anambra police officers submits report. Truck drivers accuse security operative of shooting escorting members on Enugu-Port Harcourt Highway. IPOB condemns killing of members in Abia. Ebonyi boxing fans hail Anthony Joshua over comeback win. INEC has denied us certified result copies. Imo Labour Party candidates. Taliban closes Afghanistan's only women-run radio station for playing music during Ramadan. You just listened to News Update on Ebona 103.5 FM. News produced and read by Martin Ifeanyushuku Ikizie. Thank you for listening. Good evening. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. All right. Thank you.